So, on behalf of Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive, I'm here to give a status update as far as what Onvoi is up to, my company, my enterprise. And essentially, we're trying to reach mutually beneficial arrangements and negotiations and dealings with certain city states and certain municipalities and certain townships within Washington State and a few different states, and eventually all over the country and all over the world. But we hope to find uh, negotiation room and opportunity with certain governments that will enable Envoy branded interactive cinemas. And these interactive cinemas are going to be super exciting. They're going to be different from other movie theaters because it's not going to be the same slow, sad, traditional, long in duration, passive, traditional 3-hour movies that have been featured at movie theaters for the longest time. Instead, we're going to create interactivity. We're going to have interactive viewings, which, by way of a proprietary Onvoi keypad device, which is a remote control that has 2 push buttons, along the way in certain key sequences, key scenes within the movies, and they're going to be short in duration at these selective Onvoi Interactive cinemas. The consumer with a 2 push button remote control is going to have a say, is going to have more power over the storytelling, over the stories on the screen. So it's literally a matter of, should character A marry this particular woman or marry this other particular woman? Should the protagonist, the main character, enter into this environment, or should he travel into this other environment? Should the protagonist, the main character on the screen, should he take a leap of faith, or should he stay put? And by way of the interactive input, by pushing one button or pushing the second button on the remote control, that remote control is going to send a radio frequency signal to an interactive console unit that's situated and installed in the projection room where the projector is in the movie theater. But this will be a unique type of movie theater. It's called an interactive cinema, an interactive movie theater. And the company is Onvoi Interactive. We already have a business model in place for direct-to-consumer and for home entertainment purposes, but similar technology could be implemented in the cinematic setting to enable consumer choice, and more power is afforded to the consumer so that there's alternative endings to each and every interactive movie, and they're short in duration. That makes them more exciting and more accessible to all people. All consumers will enjoy interactive cinema a great amount, from children, young children, to adolescents, to adults, to even the elderly. These interactive cinemas are going to have allow the consumer to have more of a choice and more power over the storytelling. So, and it's simple and user friendly. So many people are coming up with interactive cinema models that are super complex, where you wear pair of goggles or AR or VR or a glove or no. This is going to incentivize more attendance and greater viewership in movie theaters, because it's going to be, depending on who you're watching it with, the movies are going to turn out differently. So if you bring 5 similarly minded friends, then you're going to have more of an interactive say as to how the particular ending that you read about online, whether it's going to be made possible or not. And you get a say. And it can be one person in one of these small in size movie theaters, and they're going to be cost effective operations. Even if it's one person with the Onvoi keypad device, the 2 push button remote control, that person can enjoy an interactive viewing by himself in an Onvoi Interactive cinema. Now, up to 100 people, we're going to have wide range signal. The radio frequency technology is going to be wide range, where it's better than infrared, because for movie theater purposes, the infrared, we're beyond that. We're at RF, we're at radio frequency. And it's going to be fascinating and unique and innovative, and it's going to be state of the art, and it's going to be remarkably rememberable. It's going to be unforgettable. People are going to, for the first time in human history and film history, be able to have a say in the movies that play before them. So it's not just the traditional passive notion of sitting back on the chair and passively and in a somewhat bored fashion watching a 2-hour depressing sad movie. Rather, they're going to be entertaining, uplifting, with the right values, the right morals, and it's going to have a broad appeal in terms of all age demographics, from the very young to the very old. These interactive cinemas, the Onvoi Interactive cinemas, could play crucial and pivotal roles in economic growth for municipalities and for townships that want to get involved and kind of say goodbye to the old models of the past, the city planning models and the economic development models of the past, which have been lackluster, to say the least. So instead of following the same formulas again and again and again, and relying on the same institutions and the same patterns to provide the exact same outcomes, which is more give and take and push and pull and dissatisfaction between franchisees and franchisors in terms of exhibitor companies, cities and towns and townships, and particularly in suburbs and in agricultural areas and rural areas, townships and cities, municipalities and city-states that are open-minded and that can think, well, how do we create more jobs and more opportunities and put something on the map that's different from a bowling alley that will actually facilitate more intelligence and more user participation, while at the same time promoting the right values which will delight audiences of all types. And these cities and townships and municipalities that choose to get involved with Onvoi Interactive Cinemas will look back and they will think, this was new, this was different, this was innovative, this was tremendously impactful, and it resulted in more jobs, more job growth, and above all else, it facilitated spending in a meaningful manner, and it also entertained people via a new format that for the longest time had been neglected. So I have many other videos up online, but we're in the process of reaching out, or we hope to be able to reach out very soon, to open-minded and flexible state governments, city governments, municipal governments, township governments that want to say, you know what, enough of the past. Because how many times do we have two movie theaters that were different chains, 2 blocks away from each other, and in the movie theater, the movies were so long in duration that when one of those cineplexes in a shopping mall was put up, it resulted in 3 hours of non-consumption as far as all the other other retailers within the shopping mall. So there's too much give and take, and it didn't make that much sense for the longest time. So we have a new, practical, user-friendly, simple, easy for everyone to enjoy model that could say these interactive cinemas that will be small in size, small selective parcels on intelligent acreage that doesn't compete too much with other things, doesn't take away from other things, and yet is unique and distinctive enough to draw in crowds. And it's going to be fast-paced, yet it's going to be wholesome and practical, and it's going to promote the right values and the right themes. But more importantly, the consumers are going to have a say on what those themes are. So by kind of a choose-your-own-adventure format, the consumer, by way of just 1 button or 2 buttons on a proprietary remote control and a proprietary interactive console unit that's installed in the projection room of these interactive cinemas, the consumers get to have a say for the first time in artistic history, film history, entertainment history, human history. For the first time, by pushing one of those buttons, the consumers, the audience, will have a say as to what the right values are, what the appropriate themes are. So should this character go to this environment or that other environment? Where should he travel? Should it be a happy ending? Should it be a sad ending? Should this protagonist, the main character, marry this particular character or marry this other particular character? What themes get rewarded? What values are promoted? And it will depend on which state, and it will depend on which city. And above all else, the audiences will have something brand new and unique to enjoy in their local town. And it's going to be interactive cinema, and it's going to be interactivity, and it's Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive. So we'll be reaching out, and we hope to hear back. And let's create something new. Let's create something innovative. Let's create something productive, and let's create something fun, because at the end of the day, it is entertainment. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.